Hi folks, welcome back. We're here for another segment of adaptive yoga on the Adaptive Fitness channel, and I'm working with these simple yet profound exercises that I find really help all of my students, especially those that are working with limitations that happen to affect hand dexterity or mobility. So if you or somebody that you know has been struggling with writing, feeding, being able to paint, draw, the things that help to sustain our quality of life, then please practice these exercises I suggest on a daily basis. They're simple, pretty easy, so you can do these pretty much anytime, anywhere. When you're relaxing, if you're a passenger in the car, this is a great time to go through these exercises. So we'll start with the real basics. If you're sitting comfortably somewhere, I'd like you to be able to look at your hands. Watch what they're doing. That gives you a lot of useful information. And let's just start with these simple extensions of the fingers and then light fists coming back in. Now start with light fists, but as your hands and fingers start to warm up more, if you want to do a little more of a squeeze and really feel that strength and energy of the hands, feel free to do so. But remember, with everything that we're doing, you're always working within your pain-free range of motion. So always search that out, and if you encounter discomfort or pain, subtly change it, or you might just stop sooner and rest while I continue on, and then come back to it when you feel ready. So now that we've warmed up these hands and these fingers with these light fists and squeezes and then these extensions back out again, let's let them have a little bit of a rest. Maybe just gently move your fingers around, your thumbs. Notice how each one of them is responding as you ask them to move freely. Then from here, let's work on the wrists a little bit more. So giving yourself a little bit of extension through the arms or the elbows, and we can bend and straighten, extend through the wrists, letting the hands and the fingers stay pretty stationary. And then another one with the wrist, after you've done maybe say 10 to 20 of these, is to bring your palms together, and with the fingers lined up, the thumbs lined up, do a little gentle side to side movement. Don't push too hard. Let the fingers lead the way. And again, usually anywhere from 10 to 20 repetitions. Start on the lower end of things and then kind of gradually work your way up. Then from there, you might even do a little back and forth. You might extend the arms out a little bit more. It's working gentle mobility through the wrists. Now, let's give these guys a rest. Let the hands rest down. You might move a little bit more just to notice any effect. Now for one of my favorite exercises. I call these starfish push-ups, and I especially recommend doing these after you've done any activity or exercise where you've really had to work your grip strength. All right, so whether you've been gardening or working out in the gym, anything that's made you hold the hands in a position like this for a while, I really recommend going to these starfish push-ups when you're done. We're gonna line up the palms and the fingers again, and this time, as you've gotten all the pads of the fingers well positioned together, you're gonna push them together. You're gonna strengthen from the wrists all the way through the fingers and push those pads into each other. Don't forget the thumbs as well. Then from there, as you continue to push together, you're gonna draw the center of the palms away from each other and then slowly come back in together, stretching the fingers out as far away from each other as you do. So working again within your pain-free range of motion, go nice and slow and work that spread out through the fingers as you draw the palms together, and try to keep that press of each finger pad together. So slow and controlled, 10 times up to 20. You might know now why I call them starfish push-ups, because if you're two starfish together, they'd be pushing, helping each other up here. Or it could be one starfish on a mirror. Okay, after you're done with those, let's let the hands rest again. Maybe move through the fingers. Notice how things are feeling. Now we're ready to work more dexterity. And this is a big one. As we age or as conditions as Parkinson's come along, we tend to lose the dexterity, at least in one hand. So if it is a one-sided thing, if it's more one hand than the other, I suggest doing maybe twice as many with that particular hand, all right? Otherwise, work in a symmetrical way. But I do want to focus on one hand at a time for this particular one. So let's say let the right hand rest comfortably so we can focus on the left hand here. We'll start with a few of these light fists and then stretching out. Now we're ready to work the dexterity of one finger. We'll start with the first finger to come in, touch the pad of the thumb, and then stretch back out in between. Then we'll go to the next finger. Touch lightly and stretch back out. Moving over to the ring finger. Stretch back out, and then to the pinky finger. If that's all feeling good, let's go back through in reverse. Pinky finger touch, stretch out, ring finger, stretch it out, middle finger, stretch out, first finger, and stretch out. Again, in the future, as you progress with these, you might do another round or two, and then we'll let that hand rest for now, fully focusing on your right hand. You might start with a light fist and stretch out a few times. Then you're ready to go. Working dexterity, so lining up the pad of the first finger with the thumb, touching, stretch back out. Middle finger touch, stretch it out. Ring finger, stretch out, and pinky finger. Go back through in reverse. And really emphasize the stretch out in between. That's just as important as the touching of each one of these finger pads together. You might go through another time or two, and when you're done, let that hand rest down for a few moments. Don't forget to breathe as you're doing all these exercises too. There are these exercises where concentration is key, and we tend to lose our connection with our breath at those times. So you might be thinking, okay, light fists and inhaling and exhaling. Or if you notice that your breath has dropped away, let's bring that back in with whatever you may be doing. This is another option here, is working symmetrically, both hands at the same time, touching the same finger going through. And here's a fun nervous system challenge. When you feel ready, you're gonna try doing one thing with one hand and the opposite thing with the other hand. So say like on your left hand, you're gonna touch the first finger first and move through in sequence like we did before. At the same time, possibly with your right hand, you might start with your pinky finger and work through in that sequence. So when you're doing this together at the same time, you're never touching the same finger on each hand as you go through. This might take some practice, obviously takes some concentration, and not only good for the dexterity, but you've got this nervous system challenge that's really firing things up in beneficial ways. When you're done, again, just let the hands rest, and then when you're ready, just move freely through the hands and fingers. So one thing I'll ask you to do is test this out for yourself. I might suggest first signing your name a few times, or draw a picture, a simple picture when you first start doing these exercises. And then after you've done them for a few days or a few weeks, test that out again. See how it's come along. See if things have improved. And then let me know. Get back to me on this. I'd love to have your feedback. But for now, keep practicing, and we'll see you back here again soon. Namaste.